Hi, and welcome to another lesson of the Excel for Absolute Beginners course. In this lesson, which happens to be lesson 10 of the entire course and is part of the chapter 2, where we are looking at how you edit data in a worksheet, we are looking specifically at how to find and replace data in Excel. And this is a very important thing to know when you are working with spreadsheets. Reason being that the data that you work with in spreadsheets can be enormous. You can have a lot of data to work with, and this feature would help you to easily find anything you're looking for. And in cases where you need to change something, update something, or replace a particular thing with another, this will make it way easier for you to do that. So let's practicalize this using an example in Excel spreadsheet. So this is sample spreadsheet that we are using for this particular example. And when you go through, it's just some list of names that you have here, but to demonstrate the essence of knowing how to do find and replace, I have repeated my name in a number of the cells. Okay, so you can find Obed here, Obed here, Obed here, and I've also created variant form of the name. So you see that this is in all lowercase, this is capitalized with the first letter being capital, then this is all capital, whilst this is also in lowercase. Okay, so the first thing we are going to look at is how to find. If we are looking for all the Obed in the data, even though this is marginally a smaller amount of data, let's assume that you are working with a large set of data that you would have to go through all of them. So to find anything at all within the data, that is where you are going to use a find feature in Excel. Okay, and the easiest way to do that is to use a keyboard shortcut, which I prefer a lot. Control F is a keyboard shortcut to get to find. Control F. Okay, and the other way is to make sure that you are on the home tab. Click on home, then when you come to the far right under the editing group, we have the find and select command. So click on that, then you have find as a first command, but when you hover over that, it tells you what the shortcut is. The shortcut is Control F, so you can click that and it brings you to the same point. Okay, so Control F on my keyboard to bring up my find dialog box, and this on this dialog we can enter what we are looking for. So as you can see, Obed has been typed here in capital letters, and let's go ahead and say find all. Okay, so it is showing us all the obits that are available, and it's telling us exactly where they are. So we have A1, which you can see here. There is A11, which is the last one down here. There is, after A11, there is C1, so C1 is here. Then there is one in C8. So this helps you identify exactly where the specific information you are looking for is within your spreadsheet. But that may not be the only thing. What if I'm not interested in you realize that all the obits, even though they are variant forms in terms of their spellings and the use of capital letters and small letters, lowercase letters, even though there are differences, it picked all of them. Okay, so if you are interested in those differences, then you would have to come here. So there are options that we can set when we are doing the find and replace, or when we are finding something. So the first option you get here is, where do you want to search? Do you want to search within this sheet, this particular spreadsheet, or the workbook? So if you have watched the previous lessons, in chapter 1 we explained the difference between a worksheet and a workbook, and basically this particular one we are working with is a sheet. However, it is comprised, or it's part of a workbook. So if you want to search the entire workbook for the information, then you can go ahead and select within workbook. But if it is just within this worksheet, then you choose within worksheet. The next thing you can do is to select match case. So if you select match case this time around, when you find all, let me click on that, you realize that only one option is retained, and the reason being that there is only one option that it's the same as in terms of the case, whether lowercase or capital, the uppercase. there is only one of the obits in your sheet that correspond to what you are searching for. So let me quickly change this to the lowercase form, then let's find it. And you realize that there are two of them, this one and the one at A11. So we get them coming out, but as soon as we turn the match case off, it's going to return all the four. So if you are interested in just a specific, like taking into consideration what the case is, then you'd have to make sure you select match case. The other thing that you can look at is when you want to search, do you want to go search through the columns first, or you want to search by the rows? And what this means is that if I select search by columns, it means that in the first instance our search will now move from column to column to column. So let's try that right now and say we are searching for obed. We don't want the match case to be on, so search for obed. Let's say next. So you realize that since we are searching in the same column, we are searching by column, so it goes through the first column to see all the corresponding values within that column, and as soon as it has completed that, it will jump to the next column to go and check is there any in the next column. If there is no value, an equivalent value in the next column, then it moves on to the next and the next and the next in that order. So let's go again, and you see it has now moved to column C. So within column C, if you click next, it's going to go down within that same column to find all the equivalents or all the values that are available within that column before it moves on to the next column. Okay, this time around, let's get back and set it to rows by rows. So we are going to search by rows, and this means that it's going to go this direction. So the row 1 is going to search through row 1 for all the values that are the same as you are searching for before it comes to row 2, comes to row 3. So this time I will see, as it is here, it's going to move to this one, then it will come down, it's not finding, then it will come here before it goes to the last one. So let's find next. Just as I said, it's now searching within the row, then go on within the row before it gets to the last one. So that is how it's going to go. Now let's turn ourselves to replace. So replace is just here. As you launch your find and replace dialog using either the shortcut CTRL F, you can also get the replace tab right within here. Otherwise, you can also use the keyboard shortcut CTRL+H, and that will also bring up the replace dialog box or the find and replace dialog box. We could equally go to the home tab and on the editing group look for find and select. Then the second command is also replace, so you can also get it here. Then what this is going to do is that you are going to enter the value you are looking for, then the value you want to replace that with. So if I'm looking for Obed, what do I want to replace Obed with? Maybe the name Obed is now different, or we want to change it to is there any other name that comes? Okay, let me change it to my surname rather. If I want to replace all the Obeds with my surname, even though right now this is all lowercase obed, if I go and replace all, you realize that all the obeds, all the variants of obeds have been replaced. Let me undo that, undo what I just did, do it again for you to see. So if I replace, this is all caps, all capital letters, this is lowercase, but if I replace all, it's going to replace all. What if I don't want to replace all of these, but I'm only interested in replacing the all caps one? If it is the all caps one that I'm interested in replacing, then I have to enter in my find field, I have to enter all caps, then choose match case before I go to replace all, and it will only replace the one that is all caps. Hopefully you understand what is happening here and you'll be able to use it. But before I end the lesson, let me talk a little about some of the other things you can do. So we can also decide that we want to match the entire cell content. So look within the cell that you are going to find, make sure you have all of this within the entire cell before you make the changes. So if there is any other thing that is excluded from my search, then don't change that. Then the other thing is you can set the format of the data that you are searching for. Even though we are yet to talk about format, so you'll be able to apply them when you are doing your find and replace. Hopefully you've learned something from this video, and if you haven't watched the previous videos, do want to watch them so that at least you get a solid ground or background in Excel. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.